Welcome to Stampede. So today we're shooting with
Bhargav.
We're shooting at Atlanta's Botanical Gardens today. Bhargav has
Exciting.
3 outfits, so we're gonna do a greenhouse.
Yep.
I think like either like a big. I found this really pretty picture on their website. It was like a wall of just these kind of like reddish leaves.
I'm excited because
No, me too.
Botanical Gardens is like a really pretty place if you have never been there.
Yeah.
But basically what we are doing now with the YouTube is we are doing a more behind the scenes, like we have a podcast style now instead of like the standard interview that we've been doing so far. Yeah. We've just made a couple of changes just so you can know us better.
Because we just have not been on Stampede at all.
Yeah,
a little more personal.
No one really knows.
I know that we do
Stampede.
it. That we do it. We have people talk to us like, you know who does this? And we're like,
I'm like,
that's us. But
and we'll see how it goes. It'll probably change a little bit.
Everything changes all the time.
We're only on our 3rd shoot.
Yeah, we're in the very beginning. Very
so
beginning.
Much.
I just have no clue how long any of this is gonna take to edit since we're changing everything.
I mean, I think I can like get editing, like
whip it out.
Yeah. Oh, that too. She's photographer.
Oh yeah.
I'm videographer.
I do the pictures.
Like, no one really knows.
We'll do an introduction video. We'll do it 4 shoots in.
Yeah.
Like our next shoot
we'll do
will be
something like that.
So a little bit about Bhargav.
Yeah.
He just graduated from high school. Very, would you say politically active?
Yeah, he's socially active. Like he's very like vocal about like social issues, which I think is really interesting, which we will talk about later.
And he's got a cool style, so
he's got a great style. Yep. Okay. Okay. Wait.
We just finished the first look.
The lighting's really good.
We're waiting for him to change.
Yeah, so we are like a 3rd of the way through.
2 hours down. I'm
so hot.
We're here, we're back with Bhargav.
It's our very first podcast. Basically, we decided to change up our process a little bit, and instead of doing an interview, we're just gonna do a podcast. So we're gonna like talk about fashion and style and a little bit about Bhargav. So where do you like most get your inspiration from?
This is really basic, but the main source of inspiration I get is from GQ. Actually, I like to read a lot, not just fashion, but like just general, the reporting and journalism that they have. And that's kind of how I started thinking about fashion, and just I looked at what they had, I browsed through the articles, and that kind of helped me develop my own taste. And I think that could be really helpful for a lot of other people as well, because they have a lot of really smart and well-versed people there on fashion and basically most other subjects.
Right. Yeah, I think magazines, like, that's interesting that you say that though, because like a lot of times like people like say like Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, they say like specific people. I think it's definitely good to have something broader like a magazine, because then you don't get stuck like copying anything really.
Yeah.
Because you can still develop your own personal style through that.
Instagram definitely has like a specific style that it like goes for that. I think that magazines and stuff and like news things, like I guess they kind of broaden your spectrum.
Yeah, and there's also several Instagram accounts that I just look at that I follow, and those are also sources that I get inspiration from. Like there's this account called Mr. Pacman82, I think, or the Pacman82. I'm not exactly sure. And it's the guy, he lays out his clothes in a grid so you can clearly see, and then he tags the clothes and brands that he uses, and it's really nice. And also, in addition to Instagram, there's also Pinterest. Like if you have a specific piece that you really want to wear, then you can look up that piece and you'll see outfits where people wearing it, and just whatever I saw that I thought suited me, I just would choose that, and then I'd pin it, and then I'd look at it later when I really wanted to wear that.
I take pin boards, like my phone when I'm at stores. I'm just looking through pins. I'm like, do I see this anywhere?
Yeah, they've got really good ones there.
I love Pinterest.
Yeah, such a great,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially for inspiration. Like, there's so much that you can like look on over there.
Mm.
And they've got like a great like amount of like people from like different types of styles, I guess. I don't know how to say that, but
then it also kind of, I don't know, it's like centers around, you get pins that have to do with things that you've
yeah.
looked up or like other things you pinned.
Yeah.
It's like that's helpful. Because then once you sort of like find your style, like you find things that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When did you sort of like set in the style that you have now?
I feel like it's always evolving, but I think when I first like developed a unique individual style is towards the beginning of this year, almost, and because it was very different all throughout middle school, and then high school I like kind of stopped caring because I just had so much stress, and then senior year started, and I was like, oh, I have a little bit more free time, you know, I'm gonna put more attention towards this, like how I look and how I present myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Like, it's kind of weird, like, when you look back on, like, middle school, like, years and, like, even I feel like freshman and sophomore year, like, I feel like everyone had, like, a different style and almost, like, kind of switched a little bit, like, junior, senior year, or I guess, like, senior year for you.
Yeah.
But I think that's, like, really interesting because, like, a lot of, like, before anyone really, like, found their style, it was, like, we'd all wear the same like sort of shirts, or at least for the girls. I don't know for the guys if it was like that, but all the girls would have their American Eagle like tie-dye shirts.
Those like stretchy, silky ones. Or, like,
but then like junior and senior year, I feel like there was more of like a social media presence on people's style, and people like really started branching out, which I think that was like really interesting.
Yeah, and I think like you mentioned before that a lot of people just wore name brands and they just they use that to make a statement. But I think what to me really shows style is if they're able to have just plain like I wear a lot of name brands, but I also wear a lot of items that are just basic essentials, like just a white t-shirt, and if you're able to pull that off, then I think that really shows that you have a very unique style. And I think if someone's just starting out and getting really interested, it's not good to invest in a lot of the more expensive brands. It's better to invest in like very basic like black polo t-shirt or white basic shirt, as I've mentioned before, because people really can't tell the difference between like a $5 t-shirt, a white t-shirt, or like a $100 t-shirt, and the way you wear that really shows how you think almost, because it's not someone else imposing their vision on you, it's you showing yourself to the world.
Right.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then I think also when you get more basic items like that, it kind of lets you branch out with like accessories and things like belts and shoes. Like I feel like it makes you pay more attention to details in your outfits,
Which we've seen.
You don't get lost in like
Yeah.
a crazy shirt or crazy pants, but like it's definitely. And then when you have basic items, because I feel like the more basic stuff you have, the more pairing that you can do. And like I always try to I have a lot more like pants than I do shirts, because pants, like I love pants. I can get some really cool pants and then wear it with like you said, like a white shirt or something. So I feel like that's a good tip.
And you see that a lot. Like recently, there's been like a lot of like people wearing like chains and like doing like belt loops, like, and just like belts and sunglasses and all of that. Like there's just been like a lot more of like accessory focus, like rather than like, oh, like you got that shirt from American Eagle or you got that shirt from like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like too, thrifting and like upcycling has gotten so big.
And that really like
in the past
changes.
like year or two.
Yeah.
Because people really want, like with the basic pieces, like people really want like unique things too. And a lot of brands, especially now that people are trying to be like trendy and hipster, like a lot of brands, even like Target's got like their Wildflower, which like they got some cool stuff, but it's like everyone's trying to act vintage, like urban. So now people are like looking for things to be unique, because like what was unique is now mainstream.
Have you jumped on the thrifting gang?
Kinda. I go whenever I'm with my friends.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more into it, but I mostly just go to like just normal stores at the mall and just go, and I just look around for a very long time because it's very hard to find unique pieces at a lot of these stores, because you see people basically wearing the same things over and over again, and I try to differentiate myself a little bit by getting items that people don't really wear, or like getting items like basic items and then styling them differently, and just thinking about like a lot about how I would wear them if I get them, because I'm very conservative with my money, and I don't like to spend a lot. So I think a lot about what I get before I really buy it and how I'm gonna wear it.
That's a good thing about like when you buy something, you have to like mix match your outfits, because I used to get so many things that I could wear with, like, I'd get one top that I could wear with a certain pair of pants or something, and layering things. So, like, it is definitely important to think about how you're gonna wear something before you buy it.
And I think that makes like more sense, because there are some pieces that I'm like, oh, like you could really only wear that once. Like if you had one sort of like outfit plan for that. But if you get like pieces that like you can like style in many different ways, you can like create so many outfits and like wear that one shirt, I guess, many times.
Yeah. Do you have any statement pieces?
Yeah.
This shirt that I'm wearing right now, I really like it.
It's a good shirt.
And also, I don't know. I think I like to think I like all of the clothes I have. Like I think, I don't know. I wouldn't really say they're statements, because I don't want anything to be too flashy or too bold, because I feel like that would take away from myself. I like having things that are interesting but also very subtle.
Yeah.
Do you have like a go-to piece though? Like if you're ever like just like I need to throw together a quick outfit?
Oh, like just a white shirt. Like I got a really nice white shirt for like $30. I mean, okay, it's a lot for a white shirt, but it was from Buck Mason, and it's like so nice.
Yeah.
And I got that, and then just like a pair of chinos, or like jeans if I'm feeling a little lazy, because I always like to iron my clothes, and you don't really need to do that for denim.
That's true. Yeah. And jeans, I feel like, can always kind of pull something together. Like you have like a good pair of jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, shoes. Favorite shoes?
Favorite shoes. The ones I'm wearing right now, they're red and white Air Force Ones, and I really like them. Yeah, we're all wearing Air Force Ones.
Yeah, all in Air Force Ones.
I mean, they're all different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, like, if you want to be stylish, like investing in a basic clean white pair of Air Force Ones, like what Sophia's wearing, is really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they really do go with everything.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing recently has been like sneakers and like dressier clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
I
same.
love that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that a staple is like a white pair of sneakers, because like those, they just look really good, and like even if they get like a little dirty, like you don't have to worry about it too much, because like it still looks like pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually
they're just kind of worn like they look cool when they're worn, I feel like.
Yeah, like I think Acne Studios has these new shoes that are like intentionally dirty, and it looks so nice. Yeah, and it's just like that is such a cool aesthetic, dirty white shoes, and
I think that comes with like the thrifted thing. Like everyone's going
really
vintage and like used like beat up pairs.
Your socially active stuff. We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
We know
I'm so interested.
Yeah. So like socially like
what kind of motivates you to get involved with stuff?
So basically, like when I was a kid, I just read a lot of books, like read whatever I could, and one of the things that like really that I still remember is when I was a kid, I read this book about, I think it's about NSA surveillance or something, and that scared the crap out of me because I'm one of those people that's like, oh, the government shouldn't really be getting in my life in terms of what I do on a day-to-day basis, in terms of what I talk with to my friends, and the fact that like now the the government is still like looking into people's computers or just like looking at the text that you're sending. So that scared the crap out of me. And then with like Edward Snowden, you guys know what happened with that? Yeah, like how he leaked all this information about how the government was basically collecting all your data and all of this stuff. And that was just basically the starting point of when I started to basically educate myself about a bunch of different issues. And like my dad, he's kind of a politician in India, and so we like used to talk a lot about different things, and that really got me interested in not only politics but like politics around the world and comparing different sort of systems of governments and what works best where. And it really made me understand that the United States is a place that has a lot of room for growth. Like we are a really awesome country, and there are definitely things to be proud of, but there's also so many things that you could definitely improve. Like our healthcare system, people spend way more per capita here than in any other country, and we get worse outcomes for it. And medical bankruptcies are the most common form of bankruptcies in the out of any other cause, and some people have to divorce in order to afford their treatments, their cancer treatments, and it's like a large percentage, almost a majority of cancer patients have to file for bankruptcy just because they just to get chemotherapy. And it's really sad, and you have so many issues like that, like student loan debt. It is not really an issue in other countries, but here it's growing at a very fast rate, and it's a big problem for kids that are just trying to get an education. And I think we as a society have to work together to reprioritize what we value the most. And in my opinion, the most important things should be healthcare and education, and just caring for the citizens that are at the bottom. Because in my opinion, I think the worth of a society, or like how good a society is functioning, is all dependent on how its worst citizens are doing. And here we have a huge disparity between people that have a lot of stuff, and they should have a lot of stuff because a lot of those people work for it, but also there's a lot of people that are working very hard that have very little. And I think there definitely needs to be a lot of progress with that.
What do you think a good way for someone to educate themselves about this kind of stuff is?
Social media. So a great example is because if you look at a lot of the more mainstream outlets, you get the same set of views over and over and over again. But the great thing about social media is you get so many different views, and sometimes those views might not necessarily be and they're not aligned with yours, and sometimes they might be not very pleasant as well. But you have issues like the war in Yemen that was not covered on mainstream news at all. It's the worst humanitarian crisis in modern history, and maybe in all of history. Just the way it's going right now, it's tens of thousands of children have starved to death already, and in the next couple of years, like hundreds of thousands of children are on the path to death from starvation. And that's something that the news did not cover, but that's something that got publicized through social media, and people have found out about it through social media. And you have seen a lot of activism towards ending the United States' involvement in that conflict and making sure that the people get the food and medicine that they need. So the best way to really educate yourself on politics and social issues right now, and just issues in general, like political issues, is through social media, because that's a place where you get all of this information and all of these views, and you can make your own opinion, and rather than listen to someone else push a view onto you.
Yeah, I think social media has really had a presence on our generation, and I think it's important to have. There's good and bad to it, but it's definitely opened up.
Especially since I think that there's a big kind of youth movement, I think, in politics now. Especially after the shooting in Parkland, a lot of younger people, even though we can't vote, I guess you can vote. So.
Oh yeah.
Are taking a stand, and that's important, especially since a lot of older people do not take it seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
You check out blog posts that'll be up, which I think will be connected. And yeah, so I think that's it for this podcast, our first one. And thank you for being on here.
And thank you guys for having me.
Oh gosh.
Just like,
Should we?
I mean, like, we might as well. I just don't know where else we're gonna.
Yeah.
This is fine.
Okay.
Um,
Hold on. We'll see where good lighting is. There's.
Zia's having
Don't
just
like
so much
that.
trouble. Do you want to like sit in the front seat of my car?
Yeah, we could do that. Or
Actually, there's no way that it can like.
should we try balancing it on?
Yeah. Yeah.